you know. All right, Bob. Let's come out of the debate there on. I don't even know if it's a debate. Our thoughts on the testing for parts 2 and 3. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Where did you grow up? Who are you? Where do you come from?
In the under a rock.
Hmm. To be
Born
fair, it
in the
looks
north.
like you've got the rock behind you.
Yeah, it does a bit, doesn't it? Shall I change that? No, no. The born in the northeast, in a mining village, Dudley, just north of Newcastle.
Mining
Uh,
family, or
what, sorry?
from a mining family? Or?
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, everybody in the village worked at the mine. Some of them worked at the shipyard in Wallsend. Not that many. It was, my destiny was really pits. And my dad didn't want me to go down the pit. He was like, no, no. So he took me on a visit, and I looked at it and I thought, yeah, I don't want to be down here. It's a very old mine, narrow seams, horrendous working conditions. So
What put you off? What made you think, no, I don't want to do what my dad does?
a huge claustrophobia.
Yeah, I'm the same.
Just like, ooh.
Yeah.
So I became an apprentice mechanic.
In what field?
Cars to begin with, and then switched to motorcycles. So the love of motorcycles was born.
So sorry, Bob, your love of motorcycles comes from becoming a mechanic, or was that?
Well, I was riding a motorbike because it was easy. You could just buy a motorbike then and ride it. You didn't have to do any testing or anything. It just,
If you survive, you can do it again tomorrow.
That's right. I bought the bike. The guy showed me where the throttle, the clutch, and the gears were, and I made my way home. So therefore, I was a biker.
Brilliant.
So fixing them. So a love of motorcycles that's lasted a lifetime. Became a bus driver by accident. Just it was
By accident.
Yeah. Well, I chucked.
Did you just fall into the bus and that was it? There wasn't
more or less. I'd fallen out with the guy that I was working for, told him to stick his job up his backside and walked out. Because that was in a time when you could do that and get another job the next day.
Sure.
Went to the labour exchange and there was an advert up for become a bus driver. Thought that'd be a bit of a laugh. I'll go and do that. So I did. Did my wagon test at the same time and drove buses for quite a while. Actually loved the job.
What did you love most about it?
Well, back then you were dual crewed. I was the driver and I had a conductor or conductress working with me. And I don't know if you remember that On the Buses series that used to be on the TV. That's exactly how it was. That's exactly how it was. It was just ridiculous. Just
talking about buses, it reminds me of a story my father told me about. So he grew up in Manchester, born in Germany, but in the Royal Air Force for my grandfather. But came to Manchester, and he used to. I think they were open rear buses, and hitching a lift, getting. Seeing the conductor run down the back of the bus and then jumping off again and then grabbing the next one.
Yeah. So, but then it went one man operated, which was you're running on this. That's why bus drivers drive are idiots now. They're running on the same timetable and they've got to get the fares in. Crazy. Didn't like it. So saw an advert for the metro up on Tyneside. They were looking for trained drivers. So worked there for a good while. But the job wore a joint out in my neck, so I ended up being retired due to ill health.
How did that manage to happen?
Holding the dead man's handle and then constant involuntary neck movements, and there was a bad cab design. So there was 150 drivers at the South Gosforth Depot, and 30 of us were retired due to ill health. Wow. All of us up to 30. Crazy.
Wow.
And a friend of mine who played in the same brass band as me said, "Why don't you be a driving instructor? You'd be good at that, you." The rest, as they say. So I worked with.
What was your opinion when that was suggested to you? What was your opinion? Because we spoke about that a little bit earlier, didn't we? About people's opinions of our industry. What was your? Because you pulled a face there. So those of people that are listening, you can't see that.
Why would I want to do that? I've had a particularly horrendous experience learning to drive. I had one lesson with my dad. We fell out. I walked home. So he said, "I'll get my mate Charlie to sort you out." And the guy battered me. He said, "Oh, he stood just batter me if I made a mistake. He'd just punch me around." I can drive. I'm a mechanic, an apprentice mechanic at the time. I was reversing cars over in inspection pits. Least little mistake, and he just batter me. And we stopped one day. We're going to do hill start today. Give me your watch. What? Your watch? Give me it. And he put it under the back wheel. I was just like,
Shit.
what? Not roll back now, will you? He was just a horrible human being. Horrible, horrible, and nasty man. But I never
work
because he was battering all my mates as well. So it was just the way it is. But I grew up in a time where my dad was battering the living snot out of me. It was just standard. That's how it was. Just if you stepped out of lane, your dad battered you. That's just rite of passage. So that was my experience of learning to drive. So I don't want to be him. Anyway, he said, why don't you come and sit in on some lessons? And I watched him with his learners, and I thought,
okay,
he was such a gentle soul. Oh, that's how it's meant to be. So I worked with them for a while. I had my own school. Got up to 6 instructors working for me. I was chasing people around for money all the time. And a chance encounter with Paul McCardle, the MD at LDC, in Redcar Station Business Centre, where they had an office, and my mate had a music shop.
Okay.
And I just met him. He said, "Oh, you ever thought about becoming a trainer?" I said, "Yeah, and I've trained some of the guys that work for me. I do enjoy it. Well, we need a trainer in this area." And my 30-year career at LDC began. Ended up there as director of training at the end, responsible for all sorts of stuff. All the fleet stuff, all the instructor training, the trainer training, the trainer training.
Goes on and on and on, right?
Yeah, and loved it. COVID came, and I, helped the company through that, played my part in it, and all the lives and stuff. It was a horrendous time. Got to the end of it and just felt burnt out. Sorry, tired. I was 65. So I thought, nah. I was going to wait till I was 66, but I thought, nah, I'm done. I think I'm done. Had a little while off, and then I've been sort of trying retirement ever since, and I'm not a fan. So hence the mentorship thing. There's a lot of people approach me wanting help. So the mentorship scheme is a means for me to try and help more people and earn a living from it. So we'll see how that goes. It launches next Tuesday. Look forward to it. It's good fun.
I love it. And where can people find information on that?
So I would just go to my Facebook page. You'll find a link there. Or drop me a message and I'll send the link through. It's also on the driving instructor surgery. I think I've posted it around a couple of places. I've not gone mad posting it. We're just kind of trying to bed the thing in.
Well, you run the risk of potentially finding yourself overwhelmed again.
That is the danger. Yeah, so that's why we've not just opened it up for anybody just to buy it. We're kind of, well, let's not go crazy with numbers here, because we don't want people to feel lost in it. I wouldn't want a room of, when I did the thing with Becky the other day, 73 people on board there. Well, some of the people on there didn't get the questions answered. That's no good.
It's hard, isn't it? I mean, you said you'd started a driving school, had 6 instructors, and I can relate that to, you want to be known, you want your name out there, but you then have the problem of, well, if the phone's ringing off the hook and we can't place people, you become known for being, well, these guys can't ever help anybody.
That's right.
And we liquidate that down. So going back to your coming out of COVID from LDC, you said you burnt out.
Yeah.
How did you burn out?
Trying to help quite a number of training license holders that we had at the time, who had recently, of course, come out of employment and into self-employment and weren't allowed any help from the government. The best they could hope for was £94 a week. Some of these people had mortgages and families. And just trying to get information at the time, keep the guys updated. So every Monday, I'll do 3 separate Facebook Lives. The first one for the trainers, then the qualified instructors, then the trainees afterwards. And just trying to keep the bloody thing afloat more than anything else. And we had the difficulty that we've got a franchise to run. If people want the franchise to be here when this is all over, and we had no idea how long it was going to take, it became apparent fairly quickly that it was going to take a long time. What were we going to do? So obviously a lot of staff furloughed and stuff. And the instructors really, I suppose, drove the process of saying, well, how about we pay half the franchise? And then that keeps things ticking over. And okay, so we also said that if anybody couldn't afford it, then they weren't to pay anything. And the company came out of it hardly losing any instructors at all, which I think is testament to the team there. They're a very family feel at LDC. It's run by nice people. So but it was just constant. And I just felt the weight of it. And I'm the type of person who just takes, I have to guard against myself because I just take on more and more and more and more work. And one day I was just sat at my desk and my head just went. I just said at the end of the day, I'm going to have to go home. He went, no, everything all right? So you look a bit, I said, so I'll see you tomorrow. I went, no, I'm done. That's me finished. He said, well, sit down. What? Wait. Oh, wait on. He's a lovely fella, Paul. And we just go home. And, well, let's not make any decisions on it. Just go home and I'll talk to you later. And I did come back and remember the thing, but said, I need an assistant. Once we're back up and running, I can't do all this on my own. Well, I've been telling you that for bloody ages. But I am the type, and I do have to guard against it. I'll just take work on. I don't know when to say no. So
I can relate to all of those points, Bob. I'm the same. I take on far too much, and I think probably like in the last 6 to 12 months, I've recognised that I can do everything.
Yeah.
But I can't
just
get it
because you can doesn't mean you should.
Exactly. Right. There's more to Scott. There's more to Bob than doing all of that. And I also relate to the whole COVID thing. I worked with, and I'm sure he won't mind me mentioning his name, Matt Shermer. I don't know if you're aware of him, but
I'm aware of the name.
Yeah, absolutely lovely fella, very good friend of mine, and had a number of instructors under the team, and I spent so many waking hours when I shouldn't have been worrying about people and the effect that it had on them. And yeah, that took its toll, and he made the decision to close business, which is kind of when I sort of found what I'm doing now. But it was a horrible time for so many people. The mental aspect was,
and yet it seems like a lifetime.
I still feel like it comes up. I don't know, but in my walk of life, it still comes up quite a lot, and that some people are still trying to recover it. I think probably more emotionally and psychologically.
I think there are some emotional scars there that'll never heal.
Yeah, potentially.
It was a horrific time, horrific.
Bob, I want to know about your love for motorcycles, and the reason being is I'm a motorcyclist as well, and I love them. So tell me more about what you've been up to, and maybe you could start this off with. I want to start with where was your favourite place that you've visited, and you've probably got 1,000 of them, but one that really sort of jumps to your mind straight away when you're like, you know what, I had this experience.
I think Garmisch-Partenkirchen in Germany for the BMW Motorrad Festival. Amazing. Just incredible. We've been to so many lovely places and ridden so many spectacular roads, but Garmisch is something special down in the Alps at the south of Germany. Just an amazing place.
What makes it special to you?
I don't know. I think it's my first European trip. Strangely, thinking about it, it took me years. It was always on my list of things to do. Turned 17, got a motorbike. Friend and I, Jimmy Jobson, we planned it for weeks, and we went to Pooley Bridge in the lakes. It seemed like it was miles away. And that was our first bike trips, and I've been doing them ever since. But it was always, I'm going to do Europe. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. Never did. Driven all over the place in Europe in coaches and stuff, but never on the bike. And I think 2014-ish was the first time I went down there. I went to Garmisch, and it was just the BMW Motorrad Festival was amazing. There was like 60,000 bikers there, and there's free entertainment and stuff, and lots of fantastic beer that doesn't give you a hangover. So that was
just in your system the whole time.
Correct, yeah. But it's the roads that are around there, and been some lovely places in Switzerland as well. The Grimsel and Furka passes I love because they're technical rides and they're really, excellent. West coast of Scotland, I love Scotland. It's just a shame it rains all the bloody time.
Yeah, the same thing that puts me off.
My favourite place of all, I would probably say Garmisch. Yeah.
So that was your first thing where you've clearly wanted to do that for so much time. And I guess you've created what it's going to be and the people that you're with.
Yeah.
And
I think
yeah,
the people that you're with is important. You need to
100%
ride with like-minded people, otherwise it just becomes.
a race.
Well, the reality is, if you've got in my opinion, if you've got a big group of motorcyclists, there's only one person happy with the pace. Everybody else either thinks it's too slow or it's too fast. Only one person happy with the pace. So people start, no racing today, lads. Yeah, okay. And then somebody comes past somebody and then they're past them, and it just becomes silly.
Yeah.
So I ride with people that I'm really tuned in with because I'm risk aware and risk averse. Especially as a driver, but especially as a motorcyclist. And I see people doing stuff, you think, oh, gee, shit, you shouldn't have done that. There was not room for that. And the amount of motorbike riders I see coming around the corner with a head over the white line, Jesus. It's just like, what are you doing?
Do you think as we get older, that starts to change? Because I remember being a youngster I had a Cub 90.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you're saying it now. You've seen the money they're going for.
Yeah. I think I dismantled it in the end and couldn't put it back together. But it was always about. So I spent a little bit of my childhood in Derbyshire with my father, and we used to go. Should we go down the white paths and rag our bikes, rag it, and we'll try and survive the afternoon.
That's right, and that
but it was. Yeah, get there as quickly as possible. But I find now, as I've got older, maybe it's the role and job that I'm in that has an effect on this. But I'm now, what can I do on the journey? What's along the way? And I went around Madeira, and I stopped off probably every 10 minutes because I was like, wow, that's interesting. And then you get talking to the locals, and we'll try this, and then they try and get you drunk, and it's kind of like, well, if I do that, I can't go anywhere. I can't go anywhere else. So do you find as we're getting older, or maybe our jobs have a huge effect on that journey purpose?
There's no doubt about it. You do become more risk averse, and it's because of the experiences you've had in life. You're now aware of what can go wrong. And I kind of count myself lucky that I saw a guy come off a bike at fairly slow speed, wearing shorts and a t-shirt. And it's like somebody put an industrial cheese grater up his back. It was like, and he was screaming. He was all right. He survived it and stuff. Months and months and months to recover. But I observed that happening. So now all the gear, all the time. But some of the stunts I pulled, it's amazing that we survived. And some of my friends didn't. It was unregulated. 250cc motorbikes that were all capable of 100 mile an hour. No lessons, nothing. There you go, have that. Just charging about the place and just coming on.
Forgive me for saying, possibly when you first got on a motorcycle, there wasn't the things like ABS rings and.
No, Jesus, no.
Drum brakes where you pull the brake and you think, am I going to stop or do I need to jump off?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's just even the ones that had disc brakes. I mean, we're talking 1973 here. The disc brakes that were on there were rubbish. I mean, I ride vintage motorbikes now, and the brakes are horrific. They're just awful. You've really got to plan ahead.
I've got an SR125 that one of my boys he got interested in bikes. Assumed from myself, and when he was getting into the stage of being able to get onto a moped and things, he started wanting to come to on the back of the SR. And I remember going down this hill, and there's a mini roundabout, and my mind said apply the brakes nice and early here, and I had to turn to him and said, Brandon, we may have to jump off.
We might be binning it here.
We might not stop.
Wow.
But it's good fun. Can I ask you, Bob, what values are most important to you, and in life and in work?
Well, I think they're kind of the same thing. Honesty, integrity. I generally look at humility, I think is important. And it's something I see disappear very quickly from people who, when they first become driving instructor trainers, the humility is the first thing to go out the window. Get into this, I'm the god of hellfire kind of thing. And I've been through all that phase as well. So I think humility, honesty, integrity, and an unconditional positive regard for the people that we're dealing with. no matter
I
who
think,
you
I think that's possibly missing in today's. Yeah.
It is, and it's I don't know. I think it's the same with every generation that comes around. Every generation complains about the one that follows them. Oh, I don't know what the world's coming to, but you know, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's we live in strange times. It's
With lots of opinions floating around as well.
you're not allowed an opinion. Somebody might be offended.
Absolutely. Yeah. I don't want to know
Just
what you
because somebody's
think.
offended doesn't mean I'm wrong.
Listen, can an opinion be wrong?
Of course it can. Ask my missus, she'll tell you I'm wrong all the time. And most of the time she's right.
That's why I've got Alexa, Bob.
Brilliant.
Bob, what keeps you grounded?
Um, I don't know. I think my
Let's assume you do know, Bob.
Mm, very good. I assume my life journey, it's been lots of ups and downs, and I've gone through a lot of stuff. And I think it's looking at where I am now to where I have been in the past. You know, life is good now. Life is very good. I've had some struggles in life, you know, single parenthood, went through a bankruptcy, all sorts of stuff. Ended up homeless at one time with 2 children. Like,
That's
so,
interesting, Bob, because
yeah.
I know you haven't quite answered the question. Because I found myself homeless. Where did you stay?
Well, luckily, I've got 2 children in tow. So I just turned up at the council offices and they gave me a key to a house, which was great. Well, it wasn't great. It was in a dreadful area, but at least we had a roof over our heads. Um,
But in that
just,
moment, the world is ending for you, isn't it?
oh yeah, yeah. It was just like, Jesus, what am I going to do here? Didn't have any options. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? What am I going to do? And it's, well, you know, we found somewhere to live, and just started and rebuilt again. And I'm fortunate, and it's a quirk of genetics. I'm resilient. You know, I was born with that, so I'm lucky that I was born with that. Um, and it's I'm able to, you know, just plow on when things aren't very good. So yeah, so you know, bereavements, divorces, bankruptcies, homelessness, all sorts of. Wasn't homeless long, but still homeless.
Listen,
And it
yeah.
took a long time to rebuild from that. When was that? It was 1990. Ooh, a while ago, anyway. So I think that's what keeps me grounded. You know, think yourself, look, you could be back there. I live in a lovely place. I love the work. It's not work to me. I have a garage outside that has a nice new motorbike and 3 vintage ones that I take me with all the time. So life is good.
What's your what are you riding at the moment? Not the vintage.
A GS, BMW GS, which I said I would never have.
It's
That old
interesting because I
man's
said the
bike,
same thing, and now I want to get one. Which one is it?
the 1200, the 2015. I used to have an R1200R, which was lovely. Before that, I had a Honda Firestorm. Always rode sports bikes, and I loved the Firestorm because it was just a fire-breathing monster, but uncomfortable. They're not built for fat old blokes. The So somebody nicked it, and I was looking around at, you know, I had the insurance check in my back pocket, burning a hole. What do I want to buy? And we just stopped somewhere. I was on a mate's bike that I'd borrowed, and we're just kicking tires. And this fella says, "You ever thought about one of these? Putting into a GS?" Nah. He said, "Why not?" I said, "It's an old man's bike." And the cheeky bugger said to me, "Well, I'm not being funny, mate, but you're an old man."
And then you went, oh, yeah, I suppose
I
so.
said, "Oh, well, maybe I am, but I don't ride like an old man." But listen, take it for a test drive. Took it out and thought, this is amazing. And it would take a lot to get me off that now. It's a phenomenal piece of machinery. The build quality is not like it used to be on there. I've got a couple of 1970s BMWs, and the build quality on them is just phenomenal. The new ones, not so good, but they'll do everything.
Yeah.
And I've left a load of young pups in my wake on sporty 600s that just can't get anywhere near me. It handles like a dream.
Well,
It will go off road if you want to. Amazing piece of kit.
Well, some of these kids have got all the gear and no idea, haven't they? Sometimes.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
yeah. All right, I've got a couple of more questions, and I thought if you're happy to, we'll do a quick fire question round where you can just fire some quick
yeah. Knock yourself out.
yeah. But a couple of things that I wanted to ask was you've obviously achieved a lot and you've spoken about some ups and downs in your life. And I think that's important to remember that we are human, we have the same problems, even if we're portrayed as
Yeah.
somebody within our industry. All he does is achieve. But for you, what accomplishment are you most proud of yourself?
Mm. I think navigating the troubled waters of single parenthood. Um, if you ask my kids, they'll give you a whole list of shit that I got wrong. But they've both gone to university and got degrees and got good jobs, so it couldn't have been that bad. They were difficult times. The reality is, at that point when I became a single parent, I didn't have the skill set at all. I almost had to phone my mum and find out how many sugars I took in my tea. That's how bad it was. Not really, but so
Yeah.
that was a struggle, and it's been. I'm happy that I managed to get to the other end of it, and nobody died
Okay, well, yeah, that's a bonus.
because it was a possibility. From a
Okay,
work point of view, I think helping people understand what coaching's about, I think I'd be the most proud of. I think maybe I don't know, not sure.
maybe if we invite you back, you'll have had more time to think on that.
Maybe yeah, maybe I
Okay,
don't know. I don't know. It's funny. I never really think about me, which is part of my problem, and I'm sure it's the same for you. Um,
it's why I've got you on it, really, because it's like I said, it's more to us than I just help
yeah,
people. I just
yeah,
fix shit.
yeah. But that's the secret. Just fix some shit.
So if I can give you a challenge of yeah, find out what you're most proud about yourself, and of course, it's endearing and lovely to hear about the children and that you got through that. But I also think that if we were to ask your children, I don't think that they'd probably say anything about the university. I think they would. I think there's probably a lot more to what you gave them than just putting them through a good education.
Maybe.
All right, very modest. If you could achieve something in the next 5 years, Bob, what would it be? And it doesn't have to be work related.
If I could choose something.
Achieve something.
Oh, sorry. I have to think that's strange, but achieve something.
Strange person asking it.
Gosh. Um, 5 years. I'd like to have a few more instructor trainers trained and under my belt. I've been mentoring quite a few.
So mini
I
me's.
love that, and I love seeing them grow. I love seeing them develop. I love it when the imposter syndrome reduces enough so they can get up and work every day.
Okay.
Um, I've led a very rich and full life, so I don't have any major goals left. It's just to live in peace with my motorbikes. I finally live with a person now. We've been together 16 years. And for the first time in my life, I'm with somebody who just seems to want to make me happy. That's all that seems to matter. And I think, am I dreaming this?
You look confused by
Is
that
this
though, Bob.
real? Yeah, I am, because I've never experienced that before in partners.
Is that
Uh,
real love?
yeah, possibly. Yeah, maybe that's what it is.
Interesting. That's nice though, isn't it?
It is. It is. I'll have to come back to you on that one. Five
But
years time.
but what do you give her?
Just still be alive. What do I give her? See,
To
this is the
still be
question.
alive.
This is. I'm still here.
Should we ask Alexa?
I'll turn her off. Maybe by then somebody will turn me off. The what do I give her? Well, I think, and she was married before, and I don't think to a very supportive partner. And I think maybe that's it, the support that comes with the stuff that you do naturally, the the bigging your partner up and helping them see the good that's in them and that sort of stuff, I suppose. I'm not allowed to coach her. Well, that doesn't happen. I may start occasionally, but it stops fairly quickly. You need try that with me.
As you said at the beginning of this call, there's a time and place for this stuff, isn't there?
Yeah.
And at home, isn't it?
And at home is definitely not it. And definitely not while I'm in the passenger seat.
As I said, that's why I've got Alexa. She's great at arguing with me or telling me she doesn't know what I mean. All right, Bob. We're about an hour in, I suppose. So should we have a...
Gosh.
Yeah.
Well, that went by quick.
It has actually. I've not spoke about hardly anything that I wanted to, but that's okay. We'll have to get you back here.
Yeah,
So,
of course.
Have you enjoyed it so far?
Yeah. What, this or life?
This.
Yes.
What would you say you've enjoyed the most?
I think it's always nice to share conversations about coaching and driving instruction with other people who are in the know, and people who are interested in other people's opinions, because not everybody is.
No. Like you say, they do the lip work.
That's right. It's just, just because somebody's got a different opinion to you doesn't make them the enemy. Just a different opinion.
That's how great things are achieved, right?
Mm.
Okay, should we do a quick fire? I've got 15 questions. I can't remember what I wrote, so they're going to be off the cuff. And I'm going to limit you, Bob, on let's not go off on a tangent. Just quick, couple of sentences, maybe.
Okay. I'll do my best. I can't promise.
Okay. Tea or coffee?
I've converted to coffee, but I have just finished a cup of tea. But no, switched to coffee because I was drinking too much tea and it's starting to stain my teeth. So coffee's a little better.
Perfect. Is there a particular coffee?
We're trying some new stuff. I can't remember what it is now. We have a bean to cup machine. Very fancy.
Very nice.
I can't remember what it's called now. It's my niece sent me it from America. It's a local coffee house to them in Portland, Oregon. So we're trying that at the minute. It's very nice, very rich, and not bitter at all.
See if you can find out the brands. My brother actually lives over that way, so yeah, maybe I can suggest another one. Favorite car to drive, not teach?
Tesla.
Now our opinions will definitely conflict.
Have you driven the 100D?
Haven't, no. What sets that apart?
0 to 60 in 2.5 seconds.
What's left of my hair will be on.
They're an amazing piece of machinery. I used to do electric vehicle training for the Energy Savings Trust.
Okay.
The trainer stuff for ADIs. The Tesla's an amazing piece of kit. Absolutely amazing piece of kit. Second to that, probably Lotus 7.
Okay. Nice. I'm trying not to dig deeper into the why. Okay. And otherwise this quick fire is going to be slow fire. The best piece of advice you've ever received?
It was in a winemaking book.
In a
winemaking book. I make wine. Terry Gary, in her book. And it was advice given to her by a grandmother. As her grandmother had scooped her up under her arm and they were heading down into that tornado shelter with a tornado bearing down on them. She said, try not to worry too much and just do your best. Sage words.
I like that.
Do your best, try not to worry too much.
Can you tell us the most memorable lesson that you taught? Doesn't have to be industry specific.
I did one with an old guy who came to be a driving instructor. He was 72 and he'd retired. He was bored. What am I going to do? And I did a first part 2 session with him, and he had, 60 years or 56 years or whatever it is of bad habits. Yeah, everything. And at the end of it, he was an absolute convert. So I enjoyed that one. I think it's on my YouTube channel somewhere. Martin Part 2.
Okay.
No instruction.
What was that last one?
No instruction. Changed his mind on everything.
Wow. Wow. One word that describes your teaching style.
Hmm. Thoughtful.
Okay. Your dream road trip destination.
I think the Blue Ridge Parkway.
On the cards?
It is. Possibly next year.
Fantastic. Driving habit that annoys you the most.
People not indicating left at roundabouts when I'm sat next to a nervous learner.
Your first car that you ever owned?
And Ford 105. No, sorry, 100E. It's the original Ford Anglia.
Did you
Not the
like
one
it?
with the pointy back, the one before that.
Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, it was all right.
Okay. Have you got a guilty pleasure?
Yeah. Yeah, I'll say Chateau Neuf du Pape.
Say again.
Chateau Neuf du Pape. It's my favourite wine.
Okay. I'm assuming that's French.
It is, yeah. From the southern end of France.
Are we talking we can do a glass, or when that gets corked, we're doing the bottle?
Well, it's a mate of mine bought one of those vacuum van things. What's that for? He said, it's for when there's leftover wine. Leftover wine?
You don't need one of those.
Not this house.
Um, One tip every new instructor should know.
Don't worry, it'll get better.
Is this the musician in you coming out?
Possibly.
The best part of your day, working day.
Best part of my working day. I don't know if I differentiate anything really. I'm very, very fortunate that I only do stuff I enjoy now. The stuff that I don't like doing, I just stop doing. Nope, don't do that. No, just no. There's lots of people coming through off the tangent again. Lots of people coming through at the minute that have done the part one using an app. They're not looking for shortcuts for part two and part three. So hey, yeah, those shortcuts are available. Not at my doorstep, they're not though. So no. So yeah, I particularly enjoy working with trainers.
Okay.
Um,
What about if I put you back in at your desk at LDC?
Developing new trainers, always the favourite part of me. Taking people who don't believe they've got it in them and showing them that they have.
Yeah, because we know different, right?
Correct.
Yeah. And our opinion's always right, isn't it, Bob?
Or undubitably.
Um, we're on number 11.
Oh,
We've done that one, sorry. And we're on number 12. If you wasn't in this industry, would you still be driving a bus? What would you be doing?
yeah, I'd still be driving. Yeah.
Yeah. Any jobs
Probably revert
specific?
back to buses from trains. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I love driving.
I do as well. Yeah. Your favorite area to work in away from home?
Ooh, okay. Bishop Stortford.
Okay. I need to
No,
know why.
not Bishop
Sorry.
Stortford. What's it? Princess Risborough.
Okay.
Because there's some roads around there that are phenomenal. I discovered it first when I did some training with a guy called Chris Gilbert, he taught Prince Harry and William to drive. He was head of the Met's driving division. So I'd gone there and then done some training with him. Amazing guy. I've never seen anybody drive like that. I'm a good driver, but boy, this guy's something else. And then we did some stuff with the Energy Savings Trust regularly down at the same place and some phenomenal roads.
And the name of that place again, Bob?
Prince's Risborough.
Perfect. And whereabouts in the country is that?
It's sort of Oxfordish, south of Oxford, I think.
I'm in Oxford tomorrow, actually, so I might have a little look.
Right, we'll have a little peep.
Manual or automatic?
Manual.
And the skill that you think all drivers should learn?
Advanced forward planning and anticipation.
Perfect. And I'm going to put a 16th in there. Outside of the fundamental skills of driving, what experience do you give a learner driver? I appreciate you perhaps don't do so many of them anymore, but a learner driver. So I'm talking things like drive-through, car wash, refuel.
Yeah, yeah. I have when I was teaching learners full time, I have a pick and mix list. Inflating tires, checking the oil, filling up with fuel. On there would be stuff as well that might not necessarily be covered by the learning to drive curriculum, like limit point, balancing the car, understanding weight transfer, that kind of stuff. And
That's
you
all
can, a lot
fascinating
of places
stuff.
try and sell this under the banner of safe driving for life. No 17-year-old wants to know how to drive safe for the rest of their life, but they do want to know how to corner faster. And it's the
Yeah,
same skills.
absolutely. Yeah, and it's that element there that you've said I think is really fascinating. Again, it goes into the brain of the workings and why, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely.
Bob, thanks so much for joining us. I've
Good
appreciated it.
fun. Always a pleasure. Never at all.
And just an opportunity, is there anything that you'd like to ask or share, ask me or share with the audience?
How are you enjoying the journey with the couple with the driving instructor and all of that malarkey?
That's an interesting one. I didn't have any expectations. I did
All
it
right,
simply
okay.
because I wanted to talk to people, and as I said at the beginning, show that we're not robots, that we're human, and we have lives outside of it.
Yeah.
So I kind of did it, through no gain other than just to be curious, really, and for people to have an out within our industry. There's lots of Facebook groups. Um, I won't give my opinion that some offer lots of different things with our industry, and I wanted to give people an out within that platform where it's actually not all driven solely by that stuff.
Mm.
But actually, 3 weeks ago, I started to receive messages from people, including yourself. And I started to get feedback, and some people were saying, I really enjoyed that. That was really, really good. So I almost got validation at that point.
Good. Oh, nice.
Not that I was searching for it, but
No, no.
it validated what I was doing. And it almost created the love for it.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah.
Because I don't actually enjoy being center of attention. When I public speak, I do meetings, seminars, whatever it might be, even just for my team, I feel physically sick doing this. And before I press the submit and upload button, I have this internal, I don't even know how to describe. It's horrible. So I don't enjoy that element, but it's getting better.
It will. But if you feel that, you'll probably never lose it. But it's getting control of the beast, isn't it?
Absolutely.
So do you have an idea where you're going to go with it now that you've sort of discovered it, if you like?
No, and I think I'm going to go with the plan of not planning it. And who wants to come on? Who wants to talk to me?
Hmm.
See what
It'll
happens.
it'll uncover itself, won't it?
I think so.
That case.
And isn't there something quite nice about that? That
I think so, yeah, yeah. That's a great deal of what I've done through my life. Just, well, okay, let's just do this and see what happens.
yeah, yeah. Who knew that Bob would pop me a message and say, "Hey, let's get involved." Because
Well,
why not, right?
it's nice that there's more and more choice. It's nice that there's more podcasts now. It's nice that there's another Facebook group, because there's a lot of noise, as you quite rightly describe it out there. And the more places that there are for people to go for this stuff, the more homes there are for diverse people. Somebody will find this works really well for me, but this one doesn't. Because they all tend to become a little bit samey after a while, Facebook groups, unless they're really strictly monitored. Nobody's got the time for that. So it's nice that there's more. It is nice. And I think it's nice that, Terry's been championing this for ages, the mental health stuff. It really is important. And it's nice that we've got more people championing that kind of thing, So not, I almost use the term jumping on the bandwagon, but that's not what I meant. there are more voices, championing that end of things because it is important. It was brought home to me how important that is. Last year where there were one or two medical issues and stuff that took me to a dark place. All good now, thank God. But you realise just how fragile a group we have on and off. when what hits the
absolutely.
fan, it's like, oh my God. So
I can relate to that, Bob. It was just over a year ago now. I went to a lesson, had a really weird pain in my chest, and I just happened to be within 60 seconds of the hospital. And I thought, I'm just going to go get myself checked out because I'll probably get seen there quicker than in the doctors. That was the
yeah,
only reason I did that.
yeah.
And within 40 minutes, being told that I had a blood clot in the lung.
Mhm.
And your perception of life massively changes when you think, I might actually not walk out of it.
Yeah, well, yeah. That sort of crap can do you in pretty quickly.
Yeah, so pulmonary embolism, and so yeah, absolutely. And it's isn't it strange how these things happening to us make us suddenly think, oh,
Yeah, there's not enough. It's there's a oh, for the tangent. Yeah, there's an element of this new generation that's coming through now that I find a little bit irksome and tiresome. That it's all about their feelings and blah 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 blah. But then when you really step back and look at it, you think that sort of stuff's not going to happen to them because they're going to go, I don't feel 100%. I better get that checked out. They are more self-aware, which is in some ways a good thing, in some ways not. So I don't know. It's,
balance again, isn't it?
yeah, it is. As with everything in life, balance is important. Everything in moderation, including moderation.
Unless it's wine.
Yeah, that's right. Correct. No, it's a shame that it takes something like that to make you really look at it and think, well, hang a minute, I need to focus on what's important here. But it does take that real wake-up call. And for some people, unfortunately, that embolism would have been the end of the story. And they might have missed stuff in their life that they could have had if they'd just stopped for a second and thought, well, what's important here? That's a bit profound, isn't it? Bit of a
Yeah,
profound end.
but I quite like that it happened then because I could have done the next 30 years
Yeah.
the different mindset. So I feel fortunate. I'm glad it happened to me because it's changed. I've slowed down. I do.
Yeah.
I've got more boundaries. Yeah, but so there's a positive out of it, you know.
That's a good thing.
Yeah. Bob, we're about an hour and a half of your time now, and I will spend a bit of time making us sound even more fabulous than we are.
Well, at least there was no swearing to edit out.
There was a little bit. There was a little bit.
Was there?
But-
Oh, right.
yeah, but that's fine because I'll just tick the little explicit box when I upload it, so we can keep.
You see, you can take the boy out of the northeast, but you can't take the northeaster out of the boy.
Absolutely. Again, Bob, thanks. I really, really appreciate it. It was nice to get to know you on a different level as well. And
You too. And
yeah,
we must speak again soon.
I'm sure we will. Enjoy the rest of your
Bye for
day.
now.
Bye bye.